Greetings, everyone. Glenn Kellaway coming to you from the basement. It's Sunday morning as I record this and upload it. Today, I want to talk about a warehouse find from Amazon, which I think price-wise was awesome. So, I before I show this album and talk about this band, I had this thing on my radar for a while. So every day I go through the Amazon warehouse sales. There's like 30 or some pages you got to go through, CDs and LPs, and mostly it's just stuff I'm not interested in. But there's always a couple that I stick in my cart and then I move to save for later, and I keep my eye on them. This album in particular was an album that I bought on CD and always wanted to buy the vinyl. It came out last year, and but because I owned the CD, I just couldn't justify paying $40 for a vinyl edition of the same album. So anyway, a vinyl copy came up on the Amazon warehouse sales for like 25 bucks. So I stuck it in my safe for later, and I'm watching it. And gradually, over a couple of months, it went from 25 bucks to 23 to 22 something to 21. And I kept thinking, if it ever dips below 20, I'm going to buy it. So on Friday, I'm check it out, $17. And I still had $6 left in my Amazon gift card, so the album cost me $11. And it's this album right here, one of my top, almost made my number one pick from last year, Tedeschi Trucks, I Am the Moon. This is 4 albums they released in this set. I'll talk about that in a minute. And this is the first album that was released and my favorite of the 4. So this one's called Crescent. There's right there, still sealed. Now I get the feeling this was on an Amazon warehouse sale because someone turned it back because there's a crease in the corner. I could see someone paying 40, 50 bucks for this album, not being happy about that and returning it. But hey, I don't play the cover. I don't know if anybody else does, but full price, I would like the cover to kind of, be in fairly good shape myself. But for $17, I can live with a crease. I'm just gonna try and open this baby. I'm using scissors. Don't run with scissors. It's not good. Oh, this isn't going to be good. This is not the right tool to open albums with. Bear with me for a second. We'll get there. So Tedeschi Trucks Band, as I said, this what do you want to call it? They worked on this through COVID, so the band couldn't tour. So they decided to let everybody in the band had to listen to or read the Layla book or poem or whatever it is, the same one that Eric Clapton was inspired by to write the great song Layla, and then read it and get inspired by it and come back with some songs, and then they'll make an album kind of based on everybody's impressions of the book, kind of a thing. So it ended up being called I Am the Moon. They released 4 albums in a 4-month span. Now the albums are short; they're only like 30 some minutes long. So I would have preferred if they just would have made one long double album myself, but this is the way they did it, and I look forward to every release. I finally got it open here, and I'm holding it upside down. Okay, so there's the cover. Kind of a cool cover. If you're not familiar with Tedeschi Trucks, Susan Tedeschi and Derek Trucks are Tedeschi and Trucks. They're married. Susan and Derek both had very successful careers on their own. Susan Tedeschi has some albums out, very blues-based. Derek was like a child phenom playing slide guitar. He learned from, he's an uncle of Butch Trucks from the Allman Brothers, so hung on with that crowd, eventually became an Allman Brother, and studied slide guitar. I guess, Dwayne wasn't too far from his radar, so he became just an incredible musician. There's the thing. It actually even came with a, look at that, a good inner sleeve. That's good. And 180 gram vinyl. All the lyrics are on this one here. So, yeah, so Derek was in the Allman Brothers. Now, just for fun, this Allman Brothers set here, the Dreams box set, which is a kind of a comp and a career retrospective for the Allman Brothers. But before, all these tracks on this are before Derek joined. So Derek is on none of the tracks on that thing. But I met this guy who worked for a audio store, well-known audio store in Toronto called Bay Bloor Audio, which is on Bloor Street or just off Bloor Street, very close to the Four Seasons Hotel, which is the hotel of choice for most rock stars, movie stars, and everything when they come to Toronto. Derek Trucks, I guess he was in town, and he was jamming with, or playing in a band with, what did I do with it? Eric Clapton at the time. They were in town. This Eric Clapton album has Derek Trucks on it. It's a great live album, live in San Diego. They play a lot of the Derek and the Dominoes stuff on this. Derek's playing is really inspired on that album. Anyway, he came into the store looking at audio equipment and started talking to this guy that I'd met and said he'd be back. And so the next day, the guy I know, he went home that night and he brought an Allman Brothers thing in for him just in case Derek came in to get him to sign it. So the only thing he had was this. Unfortunately, he didn't have any of the albums with Derek on it, but there's Derek Trucks' autograph. So long story short, so it's kind of cool anyway to have that. Their first album, if you've not heard Derek and Tedeschi Trucks, is Revelator. Highly recommend this album. This won Grammy of the Year for blues album. It's not a blues album. If you don't like blues, you don't have to. This is not. They have elements of blues. They have elements of rock. They have elements of soul. They even have elements of world music. One of their live albums, they do a version of "Within You, Without You," the George Harrison Beatles track. So I mean, they're all over the place. Look at the size of the band. It's like 11, 12-piece band. Just fantastic music. It really is. Really lively. It reminds me of like, maybe not the same sound, but the same feel and energy and everything of like Delaney and Bonnie and Friends back in the late 60s and early 70s. They were just on stage. They were just freaking phenomenal. Now this is a band that was at the top of my want to see list, and they are coming to Toronto this Thursday. I have tickets. I am very excited. So Tedeschi Trucks, I'll show you a couple more of their albums. Derek actually had a band on his own, the Derek Trucks Band. This is excellent. This is pretty much blues soul based. There's vocals on the first 4 songs, and the last song is my favorite things. Done with a slide guitar and everything. It's very cool. It's like 17 minutes long. Great jam. And great vocals, soulful vocals on the other songs. Great album, EP, live, Derek Trucks. Derek was in the Allman Brothers Band. He was the dual guitar player with Warren Hayes, and I love that version of the band. This is an Allman Brothers album, live, the Fox Box, which covered performances from September 24th, 25th, and 26th in 2004 in Atlanta, Georgia. Great set. It's pretty easy to find. This is pretty good. Got some guest stars. Great album. So here are the 4 albums from that they put out last year. They're all, that's the one I just got on vinyl. It's called The Crescent. Number 2 is called Ascension. Number 3 is called The Fall. And number 4 is called Farewell. They're all really good albums, but number 1, Crescent, is the one I would gravitate to. I lent it to Larry Graves on one of the CD exchanges, and he liked it. So the rest of their stuff here, another studio album, Signs, which isn't quite as good. Made Up Mind. They all got good albums. This is Signs might be which is the one that has this song that don't know what it means. Yeah, this is probably my second favorite. Let Me Get By. Now, live album, great live album, live from the Fox Theater in Oakland. Um, Great tracks on here. They do a couple of Derek and the Dominoes songs on here, and they do Bird on a Wire, the Leonard Cohen song. Interesting stuff. Um, this album is incredible. Derek and Susan Tedeschi, Tedeschi Trucks Band, with Trey Anastasia from Phish doing Layla Revisited live at Lock, and they do the whole album in its entirety. It is frickin' fantastic. I would rather listen to this than the original Derek and the Dominoes album, and that's saying something because that's one of the greatest guitar albums of all time. This album is so good. You got to check this out. That's fantastic. So that's it for that, my warehouse find. I hope you're checking those finds because you can find something. I know people said, "Oh, I don't want scratched up albums or stuff," but they're not open product. It's just so the cover's a little bent or something. Who cares? And for $17 anyway. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, thumbs. Remember thumbs. Have a great day.